We've all been there. We come into our session and price has just taken off. We've not seen any opportunities to get involved. We might have stayed on the sidelines, and now we feel like we've missed the opportunity for the day. Let's talk about how we can get involved in higher momentum trades with high probability. And I'm going to show you how I get involved in these opportunities and how you can too. Stay tuned to the end, where we'll be talking about a step-by-step process that you can take into your next trading session. My name is Chucks. I'm the co-founder of Not Just a Trade. I've been observing and trading EU for the past 4 years, executing on a 1-minute chart. And in these videos, I'm going to show you exactly how I maneuver through my sessions every day. In this video, we are going to talk about high momentum delivery. When we approach a price chart, we can be in two phases, and within NGAT, these become our focuses. They are a range phase, when price is moving sideways and not extending, and a phase of initiation, when price is not moving sideways and is extending. This is going to be our focus. We'll discuss 4 trades that I've taken that demonstrate how we can be a part of high momentum trades. Now, moving into our session, we can focus on the lower time frame. So what can we see here? When we start our session, this is Frankfurt Open. At Frankfurt Open, we see price run past the previous low and initiate to the upside. What we can see here in this delivery is that price is not pulling back into the low of this A to B. And actually, during Frankfurt, we see a continuation of that intention after, once again, taking a previous low. What this has given us is our relative A to B, and we know that because when we see price pulling back, we know that fractal high confirms the high of the move. We can see here that price did not pull back to the low of the range, so we know that is a continuation of the intention. So this would be labeled as our A to B move. This is my focus for the session. Now, let's get into the execution. Smart money traders are looking for is for price to pull back into the lows before we see that continuation in higher prices. Typically what we see when people join our community is that they are looking for price to move into discounted prices before they're thinking about being involved in price. What we actually notice in the moment is that price does not pull back to the edge, and it actually continues from what we could say premium prices. Why is price moving from here and not from here? And more importantly, how can we understand that price is going to move from high prices and not pull back into discount? There's key nuances within price where we can start to gather that information and start trading along with that bullish intention shown. Diving into this trade even deeper now, what can we see? As I explained, price does not pull back into the edge, and what we see is price continuing from 50%. So if we was tracking this A to B in this moment, we would see price moving to 50% and moving away. Price not pulling back to the edge. And we can call this initiation structure. As soon as we see that high being broken, we can understand that price has created cause for the future and price has continued in the momentum direction. When we're seeing these confluences stacked together, we can start to understand now that we are trading with intention. And it's in these markets, it's in these conditions that I start to focus on buy high trades. And I call this buy high condition. When I'm looking for a typical trade, I'm looking for a range, I'm looking for that initiation in price, I'm expecting price to pull back, I'm anticipating a price at this location with my stop below a fractal low, and I'm looking for the continuation of the move. So my entry process does not really change. It's exactly the same, but we notice that I'm not buying low as I've presented in this diagram. Actually, what I'm doing here is trading at a previous range with my stop below the low, looking for that continuation in price. When we look at this delivery, we can clearly see that everyone can identify this range. We have a move up, and in this move, we have several ranges created. This one, this low specifically, as we see from this green dot, creates a fractal low in the market before initiating higher prices. And this is my observation and my execution location. This was a live trade that I took at the start of the year that yielded me a 10R playing that continuation, showcasing that buy high narrative. This is one trade, and you're going to see this 3 times, and we'll go over each individual trade and the confluences that led to the same process in decisions. Let's continue. Trade number 2. So once again, let's focus on the lower time frame execution. We are in a 1-minute time frame, and what can we see before our session starts? We can see price has run the previous low and has run the previous high and has remained in this sideways range. Now, here we can see there's a lack of intention to follow, there's a lack of ranges to follow, and what we're looking for is that initiation away. We're looking for where intention is shown. Here's a nice trade at the start of the session, price moving fast up into this point of mitigation. Nice and easy for us to be a part of that. Me, myself, I didn't take this trade due to that large candle moving into point of mitigation, but what I was happy to see is that initiation in the opposite direction, showing me that price is likely moving to the downside. Now, notice here that we're following initiation structure. As price moves lower, we did not see price pull back into its previous ranges. Now, these would be points of observations. Quite clearly, we would be looking inside of here for a possible mitigation for lower prices. But once again, we have our A to B structure presented to us within this initiation, and we can see that price, once again, does not come back up to premium prices. This is what most traders are looking for, and a clear way we can miss the trade. Diving into the opportunity now, how did I get involved? Well, following that initiation structure, what I saw was price moving above a previous high and giving us a lower time frame sideways range. As we saw price move away from that previous high, I took the trade on the mitigation of this lower time frame range, and as always, focusing on placing my stop above a fractal high, making sure my entry's inside a previous range, and looking for that continuation in that bearish direction. Again, most importantly, what do we remember? We remember that we are following initiation structure, and in an initiation market, we assume price is not going to pull back into premium prices. This is why we're looking for our opportunities. Again, think about this. This is a sell low condition based on price not pulling back into premium prices. And actually what we see here is a very similar representation of what we want to follow within our session. Once again, you see the opportunity presents itself after 8 o'clock. And actually there was a few ways to be in this trade. Another great opportunity to follow sells in low prices, sell low conditions, a TP at the end of that move. Right, let's move on to trade number 3. Number 3, lower time frame execution. What can we see? On a 1 minute time frame, we can see moving into Frankfurt Open, we have price in a sideways range. We can see prices contained, we're not making higher prices and we're not making lower prices. We know that this is a range and we anticipate that there's going to be initiation after that process. Why would we anticipate that? That is our concept: range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. It's the initiation phase of the market that we're paying attention to, and this is what we can expect after a range has been formed. So with that understanding, we can see price run the previous low, move back up into a point of mitigation, this sideways range here, and then continue showing us lower prices. Now, what can we see in this delivery? Once again, we can see price not pulling back to premium prices as we continue lower. And this is a sign that we are in a market that is initiating. So within this initiation phase, I'm going to look for continuations that are in sell low conditions. So here's an opportunity that was in a sell low condition following that initiation structure. We can see we have a lower time frame range here and we get that mitigation. This is before my session, so I'm not able to get involved in that opportunity, but this does give me a narrative to understand what price is currently doing. That continuation from that point of mitigation led me to see lower prices. And once again, we can see in this A to B that price does not move back into any of these premium prices. Continuing this leg down into low, we can see now that we are in initiation structure. We have our A to B process. We are following initiation structure. And in that initiation leg, we do have an observable range. Let's focus on our lower time frame A to B that has been presented to us. And we can see here that at 50%, we do have a sideways range. So as always, this is my focus. Moving into my session time, prices slowly pulling back up into that mitigation location. And as always, my stop is above a fractal high. My entry is inside of the mitigation, and I'm looking for price to continue in the intention direction. Now, quite clearly here, we can see we're following momentum and we want to be on the correct side of that momentum. Let's talk about the result of this trade. So we do see that price does create lower prices. We do move lower and we can see price pulling back again into our previous range here. And then we get a continuation in price. But quite early on in our session, we're looking at between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, we can see there's been a lack of bearish initiation structure. These are the things that I'm focusing on. I'm not just getting into the trade and only looking for the trade opportunity. I'm actually looking at price maneuvering in the moment all the time, so I can become understood on how price is delivering in my session. Because when I do start to see sideways ranges form in my session, I understand that that range can lead to an initiation in either direction. So when I see price not extending here, I can understand that likely there's going to be initiation. And obviously at this point, I would hope that the initiation is in my favor of my trade, but we actually see we get the opposite intention shown here. So this is a trade that, yes, it is following the concepts. Yes, we are in sell low conditions, and we see that this trade did not continue. Here's a tip. When we're participating in these buy high conditions or sell low condition trades, we want to make sure that we're playing behind momentum that has been shown to us. There should be a clear intention in the market, and we should see signs of initiation structure. Now you can see here, this trade doesn't continue, but it follows all of the confluences to get into a sell low condition trade. We can't be afraid of playing these opportunities. We have to be a participant in that momentum we're seeing. And by identifying initiation structure, this is giving me great confidence to play that continuation. And when price does take that previous low, we can see there's a lack of extension. So again, I'm not getting upset. I'm not getting happy. I'm managing my emotions by observing how price is delivering in the moment and allowing price to present its opportunities to me. As we see this trade does not continue, there's so much to learn from this. We can understand this. And guess what? This is going to allow me to play flawless executions in my next session. Moving on to the next trade. After this one, we're going to break down each individual confluence. How can we get involved in these sell low and buy high conditions? What is it that I look for? Wait until after this, and we'll go through all the requirements to be a part of these positions. What can we see here on the lower time frame execution? We can see price has moved above previous highs at the start of my session. Previous to that, we moved below the previous low, showing us that price is sideways. After taking the previous high, we saw price show us intention. Here we can see intention to the downside, and in that move, we know we have a new high in the market and we're waiting for a new low to be created. As we follow that high to low in price, we can see price did not pull back into premium prices, showing us that this is a continuation of the initiation leg. And what we are waiting for is price to pull back so we can understand where the low is created. Here we see the low being formed, run below previous low, move in the opposite direction. We get range initiation, confirming that delivery. And we can see here, price is moving into where? Into a previous range. Now, once again, everyone will be able to say that this is a sideways range. This is viewable on many time frames. And what we can see here is an entry at a point of mitigation. Once again, following the process of sell low conditions, we can see my stop is being placed above the previous high. My entry is within the mitigation, within the range, and I'm looking for price to continue in that direction. Once again, we can see range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. So we're following our exact same four concepts to be a part of these trades, following the initiation structure in price. From there, we see a continuation into lower prices. We're not just sitting here hoping, we're watching how price is moving past its previous lows. If the intention for lower prices has come in here, then we're likely to see a continuation of price. And how would that be presented to us? It would be price taking out previous lows that are created. That will be a continuation of that bearish momentum. And that's exactly what we see. Previous lows in the market being taken out and previous highs respecting. So now that I've cleaned this up, let's have a look at the result. We can see here, nice pullbacks, continuations to the downside. We are creating more range, more cause for price in the future to return, and we see a continuation in that move down. Full 10 RTP on this one, continuing into lower prices. We can see that we are part of that correct intention in the market, and that is for the BFIs to create lower prices, and we are on that side of momentum. So there we have it, 4 trades back to back, showing the same confluences. What is it? Why can we see these trades playing out time and time again? Well, let's take it back to our 4 concepts: range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. These are phases of the market. When we understand the phase that we're in, we can play that next phase to our advantage. We don't assume we're going to be correct. We base it on the narrative price is showing us. For example, if we see that price starts to move with momentum to the downside and price does not pull back in price, this is a repeatable process. We can observe this time and time again. And what we want to look for is, okay then, how does price deliver within this initiation phase? And how can you participate within that phase of the market? And this is how. So when we see that initiation structure come into the market, essentially what we're trying to do here is play pullback in price. And we assume the pullback is going to be in discounted prices. So anywhere within discount, we can see price move to a continuation to the downside. And what we want to do is look for locations and ranges at 50% to seek an opportunity to play that continuation. If you notice, over the 4 trades, this happens within my 2-hour window from London 8 AM to London 10 AM. This delivery is fractal. When we zoom out, what we'll start to see on a higher time frame is that we have been a part of those large bearish engulfing candles. And this is exactly when we want to trade this model. This is exactly when I want to be selling low. And that's when I want to be participating in these moves. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'm playing that narrative that we see consistently that follows behind that initiation intention in price. The process, range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. Here, I can play my understanding of the phases that price delivers in. And there we go, guys. I hope you took value. Remember, we're anticipating that intention in price. Don't be afraid to get in. This is something you can observe within your sessions. Fractally, you'll see this over and over again. And soon you will be a part of these moves just like I was. This is exactly what we talk about in our community, building our observations of these price deliveries, and then we can start to get involved. Until next time.